Unveiling ancient marvels, challenging our understanding of early civilizations. Impossible. That's what archaeologists muttered in 1994 when they first uncovered massive T-shaped pillars at Göbekli Tepe, elaborately carved with images of fearsome beasts and enigmatic symbols. These weren't crude stone markers. They were sophisticated monuments that required quarrying, transporting and precisely placing stones weighing up to 20 tons. They were built 12,000 years ago by people who weren't supposed to have advanced tools, architecture, or even agriculture. This discovery was just the beginning of a pattern that would force us to completely reimagine what our ancestors were capable of, challenging our most fundamental assumptions about human civilization. But Göbekli Tepe is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. From a mechanical computer found in an ancient Greek shipwreck that could predict astronomical events with pinpoint accuracy, to a dome in Rome built with a mysterious concrete formula we still can't replicate, to massive desert drawings that required mathematical precision without any possible aerial view, we're surrounded by engineering marvels that simply shouldn't exist. These aren't just impressive monuments, they're impossible achievements that defy everything we thought we knew about ancient human capabilities. This is their story. The Great Pyramid of Giza, a monument of mathematical perfection. The workers' graffiti tells a different story than you'd expect. Scrawled on hidden blocks deep within the Great Pyramid, these ancient messages don't speak of slave drivers' whips or the pharaoh's cruel demands. Instead, they reveal proud team names like the Drunkards of Menkaure and the Friends of Khufu Gang, marking their territory like modern construction crews. These surprisingly playful messages are our first hint that everything we thought we knew about the pyramid's construction might be wrong. But playful builders aren't the most puzzling discovery inside Khufu's magnificent tomb. When modern engineers used laser scanning to measure the pyramid's base, they found something that should be impossible. The 13.5-acre base is perfectly level, with corners that form almost exactly 90-degree angles. The margin of error, less than half a degree, a precision that would be challenging even with modern tools. This becomes even more baffling when you consider that the pyramid's baseline is carved directly into the bedrock, meaning ancient builders somehow achieved this accuracy while working with solid limestone. The mathematical mysteries only deepen from there. The pyramid's height multiplied by 1 million equals the approximate distance from Earth to the Sun. Its perimeter divided by its height, multiplied by 43,200 yields the polar radius of Earth. Its location marks the exact center of Earth's landmass. While some dismiss these as coincidences, the sheer number of accidents defies probability. Even more striking, these measurements incorporate mathematical principles that wouldn't be discovered for thousands of years. Consider the number pi. The Great Pyramid's height relates to its perimeter in exactly the same way a circle's radius relates to its circumference. This mathematical relationship wouldn't be formally described until the ancient Greeks, nearly 2,000 years later. Yet somehow the pyramid's builders not only understood this concept, but implemented it at a colossal scale. The deeper we look, the more the impossible emerges. The pyramid's chambers contain massive granite blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons, cut with such precision that you can't fit a credit card between them. More perplexing still, some of these blocks were quarried in Aswan, 500 miles away. The logistics of this operation boggle the mind. How do you transport an 80-ton block hundreds of miles without wheels? How do you lift it hundreds of feet into the air without modern cranes? And how do you place it with millimeter precision without modern measuring tools? Modern attempts to replicate these feats have failed spectacularly. In 1978, a Japanese team tried to build a 60-foot scale model of the pyramid using modern technology. They couldn't even come close to matching the precision of the original. The concrete blocks they used were roughly cut, the angles imperfect, and the entire structure was visibly lopsided. If we struggle to build a small replica with modern tools, how did ancient builders construct the real thing? The answers might lie in recently discovered internal ramps and counterweight systems hidden within the pyramid's walls. But these engineering solutions only raise more questions. The ramps themselves are architectural masterpieces, spiraling through the structure with perfectly calculated angles. Their design required an advanced understanding of physics, engineering, and mathematics that wouldn't exist officially for millennia. As our technology advances, instead of solving the pyramid's mysteries, we're discovering new ones. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed hidden chambers that make no sense according to any known Egyptian architectural principles. Thermal scanning has shown inexplicable heat patterns that suggest unknown materials or structures within the pyramid's core. Each new discovery forces us to push back the timeline of human technological achievement, rewriting our understanding of what was possible in the ancient world. Perhaps the greatest mystery isn't how they built the pyramid, but why we lost this knowledge. Somewhere in the dusty millennia between then and now, humanity forgot. We forgot how to move massive stones with precision, how to create perfectly square foundations over acres of land, how to align massive monuments with astronomical accuracy. The Great Pyramid stands not just as a tomb for a pharaoh, but as a monument to lost human achievement, a tantalizing glimpse of capabilities we're only now beginning to rediscover. Göbekli Tepe, a monumental shift in human history. The shepherd thought it was just another rock. Mahmut Yildiz had grazed his sheep across these hills in southeastern Turkey countless times, barely noticing the weathered limestone poking through the soil. But in 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt visited the site, he made a bold declaration: "This hill will change human history." He was right. The first excavation revealed something that defied explanation. A perfectly circular arrangement of limestone pillars, each carved with intricate reliefs of dangerous animals: lions, bulls, boars, snakes, scorpions, and bizarrely, waterfowl. These weren't crude scratches, but sophisticated three-dimensional sculptures that seemed to leap from the stone. More puzzling still, ground-penetrating radar revealed at least 20 more circles hidden beneath the surface, each containing pillars up to 20 feet tall. Here's where everything we thought we knew about human civilization crumbles. Göbekli Tepe was built 12,000 years ago, 7,000 years before the Great Pyramid, 6,000 years before Stonehenge, and most importantly, roughly 6,000 years before humans supposedly invented agriculture. According to our previous understanding of history, the people who built this site were simple hunter-gatherers, barely surviving in nomadic bands. They weren't supposed to have specialized labor, advanced tools, or the organizational capacity to undertake massive construction projects. The site's astronomical alignments tell an even more shocking story. The main circle appears to track the dog star Sirius, while other formations align perfectly with the sun during solstices. This means the builders weren't just capable of moving massive stones, they possessed sophisticated knowledge of celestial movements and could encode this information into architecture. But how did they achieve this precision without writing, without metal tools, and without even the wheel? The labor requirements shatter all our preconceptions. Conservative estimates suggest it would have taken hundreds of workers years to build just one circle, requiring a stable food supply and complex social organization. This means that organized religion, sophisticated astronomy, and monumental architecture all came before agriculture, not after, as historians had always assumed. Göbekli Tepe didn't just push back the timeline of civilization, it completely reversed the order of events. But the greatest mystery lies in what happened next. After generations of continuous construction and use, something remarkable occurred. The entire site was deliberately buried. Around 10,000 years ago, thousands of cubic meters of dirt and debris were meticulously packed around the pillars, sealing them away. This wasn't erosion or abandonment, it was intentional preservation. The builders entombed their magnificent creation, protecting it for reasons we may never understand. The implications ripple through every field of archaeology. If hunter-gatherers could organize massive construction projects, what else were they capable of? If complex celestial knowledge existed 12,000 years ago, what other sophisticated information have we lost? Most provocatively, what if agriculture didn't lead to civilization, but rather civilization with its temples and social organization led to agriculture? As we excavate deeper into Göbekli Tepe, each layer reveals new impossibilities. Radar scanning suggests the deepest layers, still unexcavated, may contain the most sophisticated architecture. We've only uncovered about 5% of the site. What other revelations lie buried beneath these ancient hills, waiting to rewrite human history once again? The Antikythera mechanism, unveiling ancient Greece's technological marvel. The divers were looking for sponges. Instead, they found the wreck that would shatter our understanding of ancient technology. In 1900, off the coast of a tiny Greek island, they discovered the remains of a 2,000-year-old ship. Among the expected cargo of statues, pottery, and coins lay something impossible: a Baroque maze of bronze gears, precisely cut with teeth as fine as a watch's, intricately nested in a wooden case. For decades, the device sat misunderstood in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. Early X-rays revealed hints of its complexity, but the technology to truly see inside didn't exist. Then, in 2005, a team led by mathematician Tony Freeth employed a revolutionary imaging technique called X-ray computed tomography. What they found inside the corroded mass left them stunned: a mechanical computer of breathtaking sophistication. Imagine holding in your hands a device that could predict the motion of the 5 known planets, the phases of the moon, and the timing of eclipses, all with the precision of a modern astronomical computer. This wasn't some rough approximation. The Antikythera mechanism tracked the moon's elliptical orbit with a complex system of epicyclic gears, even accounting for its subtle wobble in the sky. More astounding still, it modeled the irregular orbital speeds of celestial bodies using a mathematical principle called angular velocity differentiation, a concept supposedly not discovered until the medieval period. The engineering precision required to create this device staggers modern experts. The largest gear is about 14 centimeters in diameter and has 223 teeth cut with sub-millimeter accuracy. Each tooth is precisely angled at 60 degrees with a pitch of 1.6 millimeters. Today, we'd use computer-controlled machines to achieve this level of precision. The ancient Greeks did it by hand. The front of the device featured a large bronze dial with rotating hands, similar to a modern clock face. But instead of showing time, it displayed the positions of celestial bodies and a calendar of unprecedented sophistication. The back contained 2 large spiral dials, one showing a 19-year calendar cycle, the other a 76-year cycle of Venus. Hidden inside these spirals was a complex mathematical sequence that perfectly predicted eclipses, including their timing, visibility, color, and magnitude. But here's what keeps historians awake at night. This device was built around 100 BCE, yet it contains technological sophistication that wouldn't be seen again until the development of astronomical clocks in the 14th century. The mechanical knowledge required to create such precise differential gearing was thought to be impossible for the ancient world. We're not talking about a simple advancement. This is a quantum leap in technological capability that we can't explain. Even more maddening, the device contains a user manual. Inscribed on the bronze plates are detailed instructions written in ancient Greek. These instructions refer to the mechanism's features with casual familiarity, suggesting this wasn't a one-off invention, but rather part of an established technological tradition. So where are the others? How many similar devices were lost to time? And most crucially, what else were the ancient Greeks capable of that we haven't discovered yet? Recent studies suggest the mechanism's calendar begins around 205 BCE, precisely tracking astronomical events for hundreds of years into the future. This means its creator not only possessed advanced mechanical knowledge, but also had access to centuries of astronomical observations and the mathematical sophistication to encode them into gear ratios. Somewhere in the ancient world, there existed a thriving tradition of mechanical astronomy that rivaled anything produced during the Renaissance. Then it vanished. The Antikythera mechanism forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Our ancestors were capable of technological achievements that match or exceed our expectations of their capabilities. For every device like this that survives, how many others were lost? What other mechanical wonders might still lie beneath the Mediterranean, waiting to revolutionize our understanding of ancient technology? The Roman Pantheon, engineering marvel of time. When lightning strikes the Pantheon, it doesn't leave a mark. While medieval churches crumble and modern buildings require constant maintenance, this 2000-year-old dome shrugs off earthquakes, fires, and bombardments with imperial indifference. Its secret lies in a mysterious recipe that modern science still can't fully explain: Roman concrete. Break off a piece of the Pantheon's concrete, though you shouldn't, and you'll find something bizarre under a microscope. The material is alive. Not in any biological sense, but the concrete is constantly changing at a molecular level, automatically healing cracks and growing stronger over time. Modern scientists recently discovered that when rainwater seeps into tiny cracks in the structure, it triggers a chemical reaction with mineral deposits deliberately embedded in the ancient concrete. These minerals expand, filling the cracks before they can spread. It's a self-healing technology that modern engineers are desperately trying to replicate. The dome itself presents an even greater mystery. At 142 feet in diameter, it remained the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome for nearly 2 millennia. Modern structural analysis reveals that it shouldn't be standing at all. The dome's sophisticated weight distribution system, using graduated thickness and strategically placed coffers, creates a pattern of forces that perfectly counterbalance each other. But this level of structural engineering wouldn't be discovered until the Renaissance, when architects like Brunelleschi studied the Pantheon in an attempt to unlock its secrets. Inside the dome, an optical illusion plays with your mind. The coffers appear to be perfectly square, but they're actually trapezoids of varying sizes, carefully distorted to create the illusion of uniformity when viewed from below. This isn't just artistic flourish. These precise geometric distortions are essential to the dome's structural integrity. The Romans somehow understood principles of optical correction and structural engineering that wouldn't be formally described for over 1,000 years. The building holds another secret that reveals itself only once a year. During the summer solstice, sunlight entering through the oculus, the 27-foot-wide hole in the dome's center, creates a perfect spotlight that traces a complex path across the interior. Recent studies show this solar alignment illuminates key entry points at precisely calculated times, transforming the building into a colossal solar clock. The precision required to achieve this effect demands knowledge of astronomy, geometry, and optics that far exceeds what the Romans were supposed to possess. But perhaps the most confounding aspect is the floor. The massive granite slabs are slightly concave and connected by a sophisticated drainage system that captures rainwater falling through the oculus. During heavy rains, water flows through hidden channels beneath the floor, never pooling or damaging the structure. This hydraulic system has functioned perfectly for 2 millennia, while modern buildings often can't keep their basements dry for a decade. The construction process itself defies explanation. The dome was built without centering, the wooden framework typically required to support concrete while it cures. Modern engineers debate how this was possible. Some suggest the Romans used innovative layering techniques, while others propose they might have employed some form of quick-setting concrete we haven't rediscovered. Either solution requires technological capabilities that shouldn't have existed in the 2nd century CE. Most perplexing of all is the question of why we lost this knowledge. The Romans built dozens of massive domes across their empire, suggesting standardized engineering practices and widely distributed technical knowledge. Yet within a few centuries of the empire's fall, the ability to create these self-healing, mathematically perfect structures vanished. Modern attempts to recreate Roman concrete based on surviving descriptions have all failed. Something crucial, some key detail or technique, was lost to time. The Pantheon stands as both inspiration and rebuke to modern engineering. It reminds us that our ancestors weren't just capable of sophisticated technology, they could create things we still can't fully understand or replicate. Every time it rains in Rome, water still flows perfectly through a 2000-year-old drainage system, while somewhere in a modern city, a basement floods. The Nazca Lines, enigmatic earth art. The first pilots thought their compasses were broken. Flying over Peru's Nazca Desert in the 1920s, they spotted something impossible. Enormous drawings etched into the earth, depicting animals and geometric shapes with perfectly straight lines extending for miles. The lines weren't crude scratches. They were precise geometric figures drawn with a level of accuracy that shouldn't have been achievable without aerial surveying technology. The spider changed everything. When researchers finally measured this massive geoglyph in detail, they discovered it depicted a rare species of arachnid that only exists in the Amazon rainforest, nearly 1,000 miles away. The drawing doesn't show the spider as it appears to the human eye, but rather includes accurate anatomical details that are only visible under a microscope. Somehow, the Nazca people not only studied a jungle spider far from their desert home, but managed to create a technically accurate, massive-scale drawing of its microscopic features. The mathematical precision becomes more baffling the closer you look. The longest lines run completely straight for over 50 kilometers, maintaining their course over hills and valleys with an accuracy that would challenge modern surveyors using GPS. The largest figures contain curves that form perfect arcs when viewed from above, yet their creators had no way to see their work from the air. It's like drawing a perfect circle while your face is pressed against the paper. The desert itself conspired to make these lines impossible. The Nazca Plateau experiences regular earthquakes and extreme temperature fluctuations, conditions that should have distorted or erased any large-scale ground markings centuries ago. Yet these lines have maintained their precision for over 2,000 years. Analysis reveals the builders somehow created a chemical change in the soil that stabilized the drawings, using a technique we still don't understand. But it's the hummingbird that keeps archaeologists awake at night. This massive figure contains segments that align perfectly with the summer solstice, not just in one year, but in a repeating cycle that tracks subtle astronomical shifts over centuries. The level of mathematical and astronomical knowledge required to create such a precise calendar in the form of a giant Earth drawing suggests capabilities that simply shouldn't have existed in pre-Columbian Peru. Recent satellite analysis revealed something even stranger. Many of the lines form a complex network that precisely mirrors the underground water channels beneath the desert. Somehow, the Nazca people mapped an invisible hydrological system and encoded this information into massive surface drawings. This suggests they possessed sophisticated methods for detecting and mapping subterranean water flows, techniques that would be invaluable in their desert environment. The traditional explanation that these were simply ceremonial walkways collapses under scrutiny. Many of the lines are too narrow to walk on, and some of the most precise geometric figures have no practical ground-level purpose at all. More puzzling still, some drawings are only visible when viewed from specific altitudes, suggesting they were designed to be seen from different heights in the air. This has led to endless speculation about how the Nazca people might have achieved aerial viewing, from hills to hot air balloons, but no theory adequately explains their surveying precision. Modern attempts to replicate these drawings have failed spectacularly. In 2019, a team using GPS, drones, and computer modeling tried to create a simple geometric figure on the same scale as the Nazca Lines. Despite their advanced technology, they couldn't match the precision of the ancient drawings. The straight lines wobbled, the curves weren't perfect, and the figure appeared distorted when viewed from above. 2 millennia ago, the Nazca people achieved something we struggle to duplicate with modern technology. As we develop more sophisticated scanning techniques, the mystery only deepens. LIDAR surveys have revealed additional lines and figures hidden beneath centuries of soil accumulation. These buried designs display the same impossible precision as their visible counterparts, suggesting the lines we can see might be just a fraction of a much larger, more complex system of drawings. What messages or mathematical knowledge might still lie hidden beneath the desert surface, waiting to further challenge our understanding of ancient capabilities? Reimagining ancient achievements. Lessons from the past. The fishing boat captain had no idea he was about to change history. Off the coast of India in 2001, his nets dragged up strange metal fragments from the deep. Marine archaeologists would later identify them as components of an ancient astronomical device that predated the Antikythera mechanism. But before they could return to document the site, monsoon currents had shifted the sands, burying the discovery once again beneath the ocean floor. Like so many fragments of our ancestors' lost capabilities, it slipped through our fingers, a tantalizing glimpse of knowledge we're not yet ready to comprehend. Every year, our most sophisticated scanning technologies reveal new impossibilities in these ancient monuments. Muon radiography recently detected a massive void in the Great Pyramid that defies all known Egyptian construction principles. Ground-penetrating radar at Göbekli Tepe suggests the most intricate architecture lies in the deepest, oldest layers. Each discovery forces us to push back the timeline of human achievement, redrawing the map of our ancestors' capabilities. The patterns we've explored hint at something profound. Periods of advanced human civilization rising, flourishing, and vanishing, leaving only their most indestructible achievements behind. The precision engineering of the Antikythera mechanism, the self-healing concrete of the Pantheon, the astronomical sophistication of the Nazca Lines. These weren't flukes or isolated genius. They were the products of advanced technological traditions that somehow vanished so completely that we're still struggling to understand them. This raises uncomfortable questions about our own civilization. We launch rockets and split atoms, yet we can't replicate Roman concrete or achieve the surveying precision of the Nazca builders. We praise our digital technology while failing to match the mechanical sophistication of ancient Greek computers. What essential knowledge might we be losing even now, buried under our certainty that newer always means better? Perhaps that's the final lesson these monuments offer. Humility. Every society that built these wonders likely believed their knowledge would endure forever. They were wrong. As we stand at the dawn of artificial intelligence and quantum computing, convinced of our unprecedented sophistication, these ancient achievements whisper a warning from the dust of ages. All technology is vulnerable to loss, and all certainty is temporary. The real question isn't how our ancestors built these structures. The question is, what else were they capable of? What other achievements lie buried in the desert sands, hidden in the ocean depths, or lost in the jungles? And more crucially, what technologies are we using today that our descendants might rediscover millennia from now, scratching their heads in wonder at capabilities their society has lost? As you read this, archaeologists are unearthing new wonders, and scientists are developing scanning technologies that reveal hidden details in familiar monuments. Each discovery adds to a growing body of evidence suggesting that the path of human achievement isn't a straight line pointing upward, but rather a series of waves, with peaks of advancement we're only beginning to understand. Our ancestors are still teaching us if we're humble enough to learn. Their impossible monuments stand as bridges across time, reminding us that human ingenuity knows no bounds, and that the greatest discoveries might lie not in our future, but in our past.